Obviously, at the final whistle on Sunday, there were quite a lot of boos. Is that the first time you've experienced that in your career? I can't imagine it happened before here or at St. Pauli. What was that like?
No, I experienced it already at St. Pauli at some point, but I just mentioned after the game, it's part of the game. It's part that football, there are a lot of emotions, and the fans, the supporters come to the game to see us winning, to see us good performing, and we didn't do this in the last game against Palace, so therefore, especially me, my person deserves the boost, and I will take the responsibility for that. But I also will say that we definitely want to show a reaction tomorrow, and that's the positive thing in football, that you always have a next opportunity. The next opportunity is Villa, and we are positive that we go there and try to win this game.
Do you feel that you are either already in or drifting towards a relegation battle?
I think we have to see the reality. The reality is where we are at the moment in the table. I think it's important to be humble, to stay humble, to know where we are, and to know that we have to get results, that we have to collect points. It's definitely the truth. So the table never lies. But on the other side, we know what we're capable of doing. We know that we can show good performances. We just have to get the rewards. But definitely we have to show good reactions in the next game. We have to get results in the next game, and we have to see the reality where we are at the moment.
You say the table never lies, and that's true, of course. It's 1 win in 12, but you'll probably tell me that a lot of those games, you were the dominant team, you created a lot of chances, and you just didn't quite get the result. So what gives you the confidence that you can turn things around?
Exactly, these performances and these numbers, these statistics, because we focus on the results, but on the other side, we're definitely also club who focus on the process, on the performances, and therefore we have a young group. So if you only focus on the result and demand from we must win, we must get the results, I think it definitely avoids the perfect development for the young players, and therefore we also try to focus on the performances, and that what makes us, and me especially, so positive, because when we look at the statistics, when we look at the numbers, we look much better there. And now it's about managing the key moments better. Now it's about putting the right players on the pitch who bring a game until the end, who manage the game well, and that's what we try to do the next games.
As you say, you've got a young group, and therefore the experienced older players are so important to have around. We've spoken in the past, you and I, about Danny Welbeck and James Milner, but Lewis Dunk was given permission to speak to Nottingham Forest, but wanted to stay here. How important is he to have here, and how pleased were you to hear from him that, Gaffer, I want to stay here?
Yeah, Lewis and me, we have a good relationship. I need him here. I need him as a leader. I need him here in this club. So I really appreciate that he stays here and that he keeps fighting for this club. And that was kind of his words, and I really appreciate his words, and I really appreciate his performances after these kind of rumours, because I think you might get distracted, but he shows what he can give the club, still can give the club, and what he gave the club in the past.
You say you need him here. Why was he then given permission in the first place to speak to Forest?
I think there are always two perspectives, and that's very important to understand. It's the player's perspective, it's a club perspective, and there are always things that are going on in a transfer window. There's always rumor, but the most important is how Lewis, how the player sees and his perspective, and therefore I give a lot of focus on his perspective, a lot of attention on his perspective, and we had a good chat. We looked in each other's eyes and we spoke about it, and then he made his decision. And like I just mentioned, I'm really appreciating his decision. And what makes you much more impressed by the whole situation is how he played afterwards. I think that's not normal. That's outstanding for me, and I think that he deserves a lot of credit.
Dankeschön.
Hi Fabian, could we just get the team news ahead of tomorrow's match, please?
Yeah, so JP will be back in the squad. Jean-Paul van Hecke, sorry, will be back in the squad. Mats Fifa is close to get back in the squad, and we have no new injury concerns.
You said you've experienced this booing before. Have you had any different conversations in the past few days? Some people that you've previously mentioned, like Oliver Glasner, other managers that have kind of influenced your career? Have you relied on a bit more experience for a bit of advice?
I think everyone says the same. I think as a coach, and that's also what I try to send as a message. As a coach, it's not always like going up your performances and the results and development. So you have to go through waves in life. You have to go through tough times in life, but tough times create like tough people. And I see it as a challenge now to face it. I see it to be a role model now in these tough moments, to be the leader, to be the positive leader, to take the responsibility to find solutions. And I'm really positive because I faced it in the past, and therefore I'm also now very positive that I will find solutions together with my team, together with the staff, together with the club, and that's what we try to do in the next games.
You mentioned the solutions there, so you've identified the issues. What are the solutions to kind of turning this form around?
I think we just spoke about the performances, and performances, let's not include the game against Palace. I think it was one of our worst games in the season, was just not good enough. Now we have Villa ahead of us, and we all expect now a reaction because we can't be satisfied, we can't be happy with the last game. Now it's about us to show the right reaction on the pitch and to stick to our principle, to stick to our style of play, because it's also shown improvement in the past that we were successful with this style of play, successful with these kind of principles. And I always say, if you want to get like the luck back, you need to work harder. You need to like be more hungry every day, more humble every day, and that's what we try to do. We try to go there tomorrow, be a hard-working team, be a team that tries to get the result, be a team that sticks together, be a team that sticks to our style of play. And then we are all confident that we get the results back.
You mentioned about sticking to principles. Aston Villa had to do that at the start of the season when they were going through a difficult time. They got through it, and now things are obviously going much better. Does that give you some kind of hope that you can also turn things around here?
Yeah, I think we don't need other examples that can or should give us hope. We experienced it ourselves in the last season. I think this club experienced it, that they always stick together in tough times. That makes this club also so special. So in the end, we all understand the frustration from the supporters, but in the end, the supporters are also the club. So we all need to be there together. We can't be frustrated. We can't share emotions. I'm very open for criticism, but in the end, we only come out of the situation as a club if we really stick together, if we be honest to each other, but show that this club is special because we have a great togetherness. Show this club this is special because we are all committed together, and that's what we try to do.
You mentioned the hope there. Aston Villa have lost their last 2 home matches in the league 1-0. Have you looked at those performances, how Everton and Brentford managed to do that, and maybe take a few things on board for tomorrow evening?
Yeah, definitely you look at the games, but in the end it's about us. It's about playing our style of play. We can't copy other teams. Of course you always can adapt and adjust small margins, but in the end we stick to our principle, we stick to our style of play because we have the biggest belief into it, and that's what we try to do tomorrow.
And just finally from me, Aston Villa obviously strengthened during the transfer window that's just gone. What have you made of them in the past few weeks?
Yeah, a team with a clear style of play. I think one of the best managers in the world on the sideline. Good individual quality, good tactical patterns. Always difficult to go there in the stadium to win games. So overall a top team, but I think we proved it in the past that we enjoy it to play against top teams and to enjoy these kind of challenges, and that's what we want to do tomorrow as well. To go there, to enjoy it, to defend as a team, to enjoy it, to play together, to enjoy to go there and show great togetherness, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Fabian, in the past, you've told us about things like after Nottingham Forest where you burnt the piece of paper and everything. This week, was there anything different in terms of the internal analysis or conversations that you had as a group following the game?
I think it's always different. It's always something else. We didn't burn anything. There was nothing to burn, but I think it was important that we looked at each other and we just spoke to each other the truth, that we looked at the table and saw what is the reality. So I think it's very important in these moments to be humble, to stay humble, to to understand now what we need in these kind of situations, and we need a hard-working team, because if you work hard, you will get the results. If you work hard, you will get this luck back, and therefore I think that's our only responsibility tomorrow, to go there, to work as hard as we can, and then we're all convinced that we can win this game.
I know you've spoken a lot about the reaction from the fans. Do you feel like you can turn that relationship around, and what's it going to take to maybe just get them to sort of be more positive towards performances as well as the results?
I think the fans, they need to have the feeling that we give everything on the pitch for them, for the club, that they can go out on the next game or out on the next day or in the evening and can be proud of wearing the Seagulls colours. And I think that's our responsibility to make them proud, our responsibility to show the best effort. In the end, we can't promise wins. I think wins are always the best way to heal relationships, but in the end we can't promise this. What we can promise is that we want to show a reaction tomorrow, and then hopefully we can get the wins which we deserve, what they deserve, and then I'm definitely 100% convinced that we all can get together closer and achieve the things we want to achieve.
I mean, it's quite prevalent in the Premier League this season. There's pressure. Eddie Howe's talked about it this week. Thomas Frank's been under pressure. Even Arne Slot's been talking about it. What do you make of the pressure that is on head coaches in the Premier League, particularly this season?
So for me, it's like I don't really feel pressure from outside. The most pressure I feel is the pressure I make on my own, and this is the maximum of pressure, because I always want the best for the club. I always want the best for the players. I always try to come into this training ground every day and try to be the best version of myself, trying to come in this training ground and try to make the team better, try to improve the staff, try to have like good relationships to support us. So I'm obsessed with this sport. I'm obsessed with football. I'm obsessed with thinking, how can I help my team? How can I help my players? So it's a 24 hours job, and this makes pressure. And I think the pressure is because I want to be the best version, the best coach for this club. And luckily, I'm not reading so much criticism, so much newspaper from outside. Otherwise, I think there will be too much distraction, and especially at the moment, it's not nice to read bad things about you. But overall, it's part of the job to be criticized. It's part of this game, what makes it also so beautiful, the emotions, because everyone can share his emotions, no matter if it's in social media, no matter if it's in the stadium. I think that also makes the Premier League so special, and everyone wants to be in the Premier League and be part of it. And therefore, I think we need to find a way to deal with pressure. And my way to deal with pressure is I don't really feel it from outside, because I always make the most pressure on my own, and that's how I try to handle it.
It's quite rare for us to speak to you after training. What reaction after all those conversations you had with the players, what have you seen from them this week?
Yeah, really good. We unfortunately only had like one real training session together with the team. We just came in. I saw a team full of energy. I saw a team that gives me like a lot of confidence, speaking now in front of you, speaking now in front of the press, because I see just a team that really sticks together. I see great players, great personalities, great characters. So therefore, I'm quite happy sitting now in front of you and speaking about my team, because I'm confident that we have a big chance tomorrow.